Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart, and this time we'll be talking about a rumor for both Metroid and Splatoon in 2020 for the Nintendo Switch. Now this rumor isn't a fresh rumor, it's been around for a little bit already. It was in the discussions and talks leading up to the eventual Direct Mini Partner Showcase, but I don't think any of us really figured out what that rumor meant, and it is coming from a credible leaker, so I do think there is some merit here when we consider other elements as well. So that's why we're going to be talking about the possibility for both Metroid and Splatoon perhaps being shown off for the Switch this year. But before we jump into things, I first want to talk a little bit about my social media. There's a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patron page, and a Twitch channel. If you're interested in any of that, check it all out. It's linked in the description below. So let me explain to you where this rumor is coming from. So it comes from C. Tsubasa from ResetEra. Now, he posted about this last Saturday. Last Saturday would be July 18th, so not that long ago. Now for those of you who don't know, C. Tsubasa used to go by King Zell. You may have heard of King Zell, and he's talked about a lot of things in the past and gotten them right. For example, he told us about Link's Awakening before Link's Awakening was even a thing on the Switch last year. On ResetEra, C. Tsubasa is considered to be a legitimate leaker who has inside information, who sometimes gives us hints about what's to come. So with all the direct speculation that's been coming up lately, especially before the reveal for the partner showcase, C. Tsubasa said this: "I hope you guys like Mario games." Now that doesn't sound like anything crazy, it just seems like he's supporting the notion of the Mario Remasters coming out for Mario's 35th anniversary. That all makes sense. Most people are in agreement that the Mario Remasters are probably real and we'll be seeing them sometime this year. But here's the thing, he wasn't just saying that. Take a look at the text one more time. Both the M and the S are bolded. He was trying to highlight both the S and the M for a reason. Why was he? Well, he was trying to hint at other games that could be coming out, or at least be getting revealed in a Nintendo Direct. So Tsubasa was actually questioned about the whole partner showcase and what he was sort of teasing or talking about, and this is how he responded. "What I was told, that Nintendo is showcasing their games late summer. That's why this Direct was a surprise to me actually. The S and M hint were for two games that should have been revealed in that Nintendo Direct. With Nintendo, especially this year, nothing is certain." So to be clear here, he's not saying specifically that these two games that he's alluding to will be coming out this year, just that they will be revealed during this Nintendo Direct. But the reason why I would assume that 2020 would be a likelihood, or at least a pretty good chance, is because Nintendo has not talked about their second half of 2020 games yet. We're all starving for that information, and we're hoping that news is coming really soon. Official news from Nintendo. So I'm making that mental leap that if these two games were to be revealed during this Direct, that they will be part of the 2020 lineup, but it's entirely possible that if these two games are real, they will be coming out later on, perhaps sometime in 2021. That's definitely a possibility. But there's a few takeaways from his statement here. First, he's talking about how he wasn't expecting the Nintendo Direct to happen so soon. He was expecting it to happen a little bit longer, which is why he was surprised. So that Nintendo Direct that actually has Nintendo games, he does think is still coming, just later down the road. That's what he's been hearing. But the other thing is that he was teasing something earlier that wasn't about Mario, it's about something else. Two other things, two other Nintendo games. One of them, S, the other, M. Now, let's think about games, Nintendo franchises that start with the letter M. Besides Mario, the only one that comes to mind for me right now is Metroid. And then for the S one, well, besides Super Smash Bros. And Super Mario, both of those I think are already accounted for here, the only other option that I can think of is Splatoon. So then, is it realistic to think that a new Metroid game and a new Splatoon game could be around the corner? Let's first consider this Metroid situation here. Now, Metroid Prime 4, its development was restarted back in 2019. He's talking about a new game here, so I don't think that will be Metroid Prime 4. Technically, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD has not been announced yet. Maybe it could be that. I think that's a possibility. Considering the circumstances right now, I think we're all starting to think that maybe Nintendo is going to be having a bit of a slow year, so maybe they are going to be relying a little bit more on remasters, and supposedly the Metroid Prime Trilogy has been done for quite some time, and Nintendo's simply waiting for the right time to release it. So maybe they could bring that out this year, but I think it's also worth noting that we should have probably seen it already, and I think the only reason we haven't seen it yet is because Nintendo is intentionally holding this game back so it could come out closer to the release for Metroid Prime 4. So if Metroid Prime 4 is still a ways off, we might not be close enough to its release for Nintendo to feel comfortable to release Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. I'm personally expecting Prime Trilogy HD next year, but if it comes this year, that's fantastic. I'll obviously be really excited about that. But there have been talks for another Metroid game for quite some time now. A lot of rumors from supposedly credible sources talking about a 2D Metroid game being in the works, and when you think about what Mercury Steam was working on with Metroid Samus Returns, and the fusion hints and things with that game and the interviews of how they were talking about it, I outlined all of this in a video not too long ago talking about how it seemed really likely that Mercury Steam, the team behind Samus Returns, is working on another 2D Metroid game, and that was 3 years ago. So it does seem like it could perhaps be the right time for another Metroid game to come out. A 2D Metroid game, 3 years probably is enough time, so I wouldn't be surprised if this M is referring to a 2D Metroid game reveal during this Nintendo Direct. And just to be totally clear, when I say 2D Metroid, it's still 3D graphics in HD, it's just a side-scroller, just like Samus Returns, just like Super Metroid, just like Metroid Fusion, that style of Metroid game. Now what about Splatoon? You see, the thing about Splatoon is that Splatoon 2 came out not too long ago. Is it really already about time for Splatoon 3? Consider this, the major DLC updates for Splatoon 2 ended in 2018 and the final Splatfest was in July 2019, that was just a year ago. Are we really close enough for a Splatoon 3 reveal? I'm skeptical of that, so that's why I'm not sure what he's referring to here. However, I have heard some speculation that perhaps a Splatoon spin-off could be in the works. Now I know, when you hear the name spin-off, you might think that could be kind of disappointing, but I have an idea for what could, I think, be a really cool Splatoon spin-off game. So earlier this year, towards the beginning of the year, we got this official art from the Splatoon team, and it was this little dark brownish image that said, "Have a great 2020, but when you look at the water, it actually says SOS. But not only that, there's a hidden message that says, "Save our salmons," and it looks like this is a reference to Salmon Run given that we have the salmons. Now in Splatoon 2, they had this mode called Salmon Run, which was basically a horde mode, like a zombie mode where the salmon were basically zombies and you had to fight hordes of them. I thought it was a really cool mode, but I wish they added more updates to it. They didn't really add that much to the Salmon Run throughout the actual regular DLC updates for Splatoon 2. I think there's actually still a lot more room for improvement for the Salmon Run mode in Splatoon. So what if they decide to make a dedicated game to Salmon Run? What if there is a Splatoon 2 spin-off Salmon Run, like a dedicated horde mode Splatoon game? I think that could be really fun, and it could be a very compelling game, and it wouldn't be a whole new Splatoon 3, but it could be something we could get in the meanwhile that could maybe even come out this year, or at least get revealed this year in a potential Nintendo Direct not too long from now. To be clear, all of this is speculation, but considering Sisu Boss's track history here, considering this art from the Splatoon team that does say 2020 with an SOS saying "Save our salmons," it does seem like there's something being teased here. Maybe it is a Splatoon spin-off. At first I thought it was maybe just a tease towards Splatoon 3 and it would just be a ways off and they were just teasing it really early, but it's possible they were teasing something for this year. So I think it would be really awesome to see both a new Metroid game and a new Splatoon game this year, or at least revealed this year in a Nintendo Direct. That could really bolster up the amount of really cool reveals we could see in a Direct, and I think that would be really fun to see. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think a new Metroid game and a new Splatoon game are right around the corner for the Switch? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.